All right, folks, welcome to a weekly market recap. This week I ended up on a negative 1 RR. I only have one setup this week. Actually, I'm supposed to have only one setup this week, which was this Wednesday trade. The Friday trade, I should have not taken it because there's a reasoning. If you go check the Friday trade recap, that right there that should tell you why. But the only setup we had was this Wednesday trade. Every other day we were bearish. I was bearish on Monday, bearish on Tuesday. Never had no setups. I was bullish on Wednesday. Had a beautiful setup. On Wednesday, I was at first bearish until we had a weekly S&P CRT. Then I was bullish and eventually longed it up. So Wednesday I was bullish. Thursday I was bearish. Market argument strong liquidity. I was bullish, right? But my new way of trading, I was actually bearish, but the market never gave me the setup. So Friday I was bearish. I didn't have a setup, but the setup was very low probability, so there was no execution. So going back the whole week, I already made a video on this, like let's say my Friday trade recap. This is gonna be a little bit more touches into the way of the lessons slash improves I'm gonna have, because I'm transitioning to entering and changing my whole way of trading, right? Not my whole way of trading, but focusing on the higher time frame, if I say so myself. So before we do that, let me tell you guys the lesson of the week. Lesson number one: I will no longer be looking for advanced entries on the near-term profile 2, primarily 4 hours, 50-minute time frame, hourly, 5-minute time frame. Whenever there's a 4 hourly CRT impact, I'll stick to the 4 CRT because higher time frame power. My new ways of entering would be if a ride gap above or below old lows or old highs. Whenever there's a old high or low inside of a ride gap, I'm not going to trade. It's going to be considered low probability. The next lesson is that of the week is why am I doing that? Because Total Soup, if you trade Total Soup, you don't need to wait for the model one confirmation. You don't need to wait for the confirmation. You just can enter based on the sweep, right? That is all a Total Soup is. A sweep of liquidity. That's all it is, right? And that's all we just enter on. And the next lesson is that's a lesson. Yeah, I think that's the lesson of the week from the trade. So yeah, that's the lesson. If there's more, I'll probably point it out for the video. If there's not, that's it. But now I'm transitioning to entering only trades whenever there's a daily high or daily low getting souped on a bullish bearish environment. If I'm in a bearish environment, the daily highs are very smooth, right? Because the daily highs are very consistent and smooth, and they don't get contested, right? In a bearish environment, the daily high never gets contested. Very smooth, right? Very smooth, very smooth over here as well. Boom, the downside, right? So that's the lesson of this. Next thing what I'm supposed to do is I'm transitioning just to entering the higher time frame, focusing the higher time frame, because higher time, higher power, and the higher time is actually a good thing. Because what the problem I had was that I was in a lower time frame. I was there in the chart for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, and I would not have a setup. That would happen for days, right? Eventually, I'm wasting a lot of hours if you add it up. I'm wasting a lot of hours just staring at the market without no setup. And the way I'm gonna have a setup from now on forward, the way I'm gonna trade is I'm only gonna trade when we pop over an old high in a bearish environment on a daily time frame, right? On a daily time frame, we pop above a daily high, then I'm looking for shorts, right? Other than that, no, I'm not looking at the trade at all. I'm not gonna look at the market at all. In this case, you can say it over here on Tuesday. I stared at the market for 4 hours. Instead of doing that, I could have been out of the market doing something else and saved me time. So that's the overall lesson of the next thing I'm doing is I'm gonna transition to only daily highs and lows and and above. So if you go back to the bullish environment here again, you can see beautiful, boom, beautiful daily lows in a bullish environment. The lows are very consistent. They're very, they don't get contested. The Total Soup are very smooth, right? They're very smooth. They don't get contested. You can see soup of the low, boom. So reject below the low, break of the high. Reject below the low, break above the high. Reject below the low, break above the highs. Reject below the low, break above the high. Reject below the low, break above the high. Reject below the another low, break above these highs again. Reject below the low, break above the highs, and vice versa, right? Reject above the highs, break below the lows, reject above the highs, break below the lows, reject above the highs, break below the lows, reject above the high, break below the low. Although it didn't break it, but it souped it, right? So, as you guys know, for a long time, I have been wanting to trade market profiles, but the problem I have with market profiles, I would not know which high to soup out, which low to soup out. And in this case, this helps me out. Looking at daily levels, looking at daily highs and lows helps me out even more. You can see this specific daily low in the lower time frame, this specific low. You see in the lower time frame, there's many lows here. I don't know which low to pick out. So with the higher time frame, and this daily low is a daily CRT low. There's daily low after getting souped. Beautiful price movement to the upside. False market shift to the downside. Beautiful push to the upside. Again, here again. Another push to the downside. Push to the upside. Boom. Another push to the downside. Push to the upside. Boom. You can see they're very. So now you see the specific lows in the 4 time frame. They have, sensitive price points, right? They're, reaching below the low, break of the highs. But the problem I had is like, which low do I pick? Do I pick this low? Do I pick this low? Which low do I pick? I don't know which low to pick. Now this helps me even more looking at the daily time frame lows and highs in a bullish size bearish environment. So this specific low, what's that want to deliver? You can see. So, but the problem I had, I would look at this low. I was like, okay, is this low supposed to deliver? I don't know which low is supposed to deliver. But looking at it, it's supposed to be this low is the one to deliver. You can see this one after the soup on this low. This was the low to deliver to the upside, right? So that's the rule I'm going for. And that's a huge improvement in my eyes. It still gives me very high accuracy on my buys and, on the way I trade. Plus, saves me a lot of times. Plus, it's very higher probability. Boom, higher probability. Higher probability, right? You can see these lows, they don't get contested. Right? But the trades I took, the lows or the highs, they get contested very much. And this is a very good thing because these are specific market profiling price points, right? In a bullish market profile, you look for reaching below the low, break of the highs. Bearish market profile, reach above the highs, break of the lows, right? In this case, this helps us on which lows to look for and which highs to look for, right? So which lows to look for resistance and which highs to look for, breaks, and which highs to look for resistance, which lows to look for breaks, right? Simple as that. This helps us our market profiling even more. As you guys know, CRT market profiling, weekly market profiles, and higher time frame, higher time frame, higher RTRL are very important, right? Especially the lower time frame, daily time frame, especially daily ranges, daily CRTs, daily. What is the next one? Market profiles are very important, right? They drive the market, right? As you can see, smooth, right? So that's the first transition I'm doing. Is I'm only gonna be trading when the market sips out a daily high or sips out a daily low. That's the only time I'm going to be looking for trades. Otherwise, I'm not going to be looking for any setups until I get a super over daily high or until we get a pop over daily high or dump below daily low. Otherwise, I would not be looking for any setups. So that's the next lesson. The next one is on the daily time frame. All I'm looking for is daily ranges and the market profiling. I'm not going to be looking for daily IOTRL or daily, whatever. I'm only be looking for daily pop of the highs, break the lows, and daily ranges and CRTs, nothing else. Because why am I not looking for daily IOTRL? Because in this case, daily IRL would have been very confusing around here. You can see IRL never got delivered, right? So you can see this fair value gap market tapped this daily IRL, ERL to this IRL, from IRL back to ERL. That's too much. But if we just focus on pop of the high, break the low, that would avoid that confusion, right? The opponent will like the pop of the high, break with the low, the if then principle, if we break up, if we reject with the high, then we're gonna break with the low. How do we know that we're gonna reverse from a bearish sentiment to a bullish sentiment? Simple. Daily ranges in the higher time frame. Higher time frame. The only time I was looking to go on the bullish sentiment, which is the Wednesday, at the Wednesday setup, is when we had a higher time frame shift, right? A higher time frame weekly ERL. So we go from weekly ERL SMT to IRL, which got tapped. Now go from weekly IRL back to ERL. Now that's reason number one. The second reasoning, I'm only looking for pop of the highs until the 50% mark of the daily range. Then I could look for rejection below the lows. Then looking for a break of the highs until the higher time key level gets met. So until this, the 50% daily range mark, I'm looking for pop of the highs, break the lows. But once 50% mark is met and the higher time frame shifts from bearish to bullish, then I'm looking for a rejection below the lows. Then looking for a break of the highs. And right when it switches up, if that switches off right back to be bearish, then guess what? We're looking for a pop of the highs and break the lows again. Simple as that. So that's the lesson. And yeah, so on a daily time frame, I'm all looking for the if then principle. If we pop the high, if we reject the high, you're looking for a break the low. I'm not gonna be taking any trades unless we reject above or below, or dump below a old low or old high on a daily time frame. Otherwise, I'm sidelines because this helps me save time. The only time I'm looking for IRL to ERL is in the weekly time frame. Because weekly time frame is candles and is higher time frame for me. And eventually looking for that in the higher time frame other than that. So weekly and above is when I'm looking for weekly IRLs and 2 ERLs, etc., etc. But the lower time frame, on a daily time frame, I'm focused on, the if then principle. If we reach above the high, then we're gonna break below the lows, as well as daily ranges and weekly profiles, and that's all on the weekly profile, as well as CRT and ranges, which is if then, right? If we reach above the high, the daily high, they would break below the daily low. Simple as that. So that's my main focus on a daily time frame. There's so many fair value gaps here, right? There's so many IRL to ERL, etc., etc. So this helps us avoid that confusion and make us be more higher probability and higher quality by focusing on rejection above a certain candle, which is a daily high and low. They're looking for break with lows, right? In a bearish environment, and vice versa. So yeah, that's just the second shift I'm doing. It's just primarily focusing on that. You guys may not understand it, but once I show you guys examples in a chart, then you guys will start to understand this more constantly, more often. Because the reason right now it doesn't really make sense to you guys is because, like, right now I'm kind of sick, right? I'm having some teeth problem. I went to the dentist recently, so the teeth problem is kind of sketching up a little bit. So yeah, it's kind of hurting. So it's kind of hurting my headache, make me feel weird, but gotta get the job done. But yeah, that's the second transition. Once again, on a daily time frame, I'm looking for if then principle. I'm all looking for pop above highs, down below lows. Depending on the environment. In a bullish environment, I'm looking for down below lows, then I'm looking to get up. In a bearish environment, I'm looking for pop over highs, then push it to the downside, short it down to the downside. And I'm all looking for daily time. I'm looking for daily ranges and CRTs and weekly profiles and the if then principle, right? The rejection of the high, then break the low. If we reject above the high, then we break the low. But during the rejection above the high, we're looking for our setups. Then we can look into predetermined break below the low, right? So that's the lesson And on a daily time frame, I'm not gonna be looking for daily hours to euros. I'm primarily gonna be sticking to daily. I'm primarily gonna be sticking to the higher time frame on the weekly time frame, euro to euro, euro to euro, etc., etc. But that's on the weekly time frame above, because weekly time frame above is my longer term drawn liquidity that I look for, because it doesn't short term drawn liquidity, right? So yeah. And people wondering, well, on these two specific days, if you're looking for reasonable lows, you would have been wrecked. No. How? Daily ranges, right? On daily time frame, we're looking for daily ranges. Two to the lows, to the high, stable low, stable high. So we're looking for to only buy after the discount gets tapped, as well as after this low, this specific low gets tapped, after this specific low gets souped or has SMT after that tapping discount, right? So gets souped, then we're looking to long it up, right? So this day in these two specific days, we're not in a market for fucking 12 hours looking at the chart for no fucking reason, right? So we're preserving capital as well as we're waiting for higher quality. So this helps me be focused on high quality, saves me time, and it's overall better for the eye, because my eyes gonna get black down here. Some days when I'm looking at the market for 2 days straight, if I'm looking for the market for like 12 hours, my eyes definitely get fucking a little black, right? And the underlines are definitely, you can see right now a little bit. It's kind of shitty, right? So that's the problem. This right here solves the solution. Because health is king, right? Now I feel a little sick. Yesterday I feel literally I thought I was gonna die because how bad it hurted my fucking teeth. Because I think when they did my whatever the shit they did, he got into my nerve and that shit started hurting my nerve, right? Eventually I felt the pain throughout the whole night. I thought I was gonna die, right, from that shit, but I made it out because I'm T. I'm saying obviously, I believe in God, so I know that that's not gonna be the end. I'm not gonna come on. So yeah, that's the overall weekly market recap. Many lessons here. In the lower time, when our new time of entry in the market, if a rag up above or below an old high or old low, you can see if a rag up above the old high is tapped in, beautiful edge to the downside. If you go to the low time frame, below this old low, there's a Ferrari. Beautiful reaction. And I saw some advanced traders on the Twitter taking the same trade, taking this total soup from all down here. It's like, that right there is my sign. Right, then eventually went to the back to the chart, like, oh, there's this specific concept that Romeo teach. Let me go pull up the concept that Romeo teach right over here. This specific low right over here. Which I already talked about this on the Friday trade recap, but let me just restate it this way. You can see right here, if I get below or above old high equals high probability, right? This is very high probability setup. Fucking high probability, right? And you can see old low, below the old low, that's a Ferrari gap, which delivered very beautifully. So yeah. Now this happened the same day, then it happened literally the next day as well. Below this old low, there was a Ferrari gap. Boom. And that delivered very beautifully as well. But whenever there is a Ferrari gap, whenever there's an old high or old low inside the Ferrari gap, I'm not going to take a trade. I'm only looking to take a trade when the market has a Ferrari gap above or below the old high or old low, not inside of it, as well as it must follow all of our trading algorithms. In this case, you guys know we're total soup traders. We're not meant to wait for the normal confirmation in the ratio block entry. We could just enter before the confirmation. That's literally called total soup, right? So basically liquidity sweeps, right? Liquidity sweep without waiting for the confirmation. If we wait for the confirmation, you mess up with your RR, and eventually it mess up with your RR as well as its as well as it may not get contested. It may not even get tapped. So you may just leave you out. So that's why we don't wait for the model confirmation as a total soup trader. So yeah, that's the lesson of the week. Well, this week I did take a loss, but guess what? It didn't affect me that much. I am right now currently down 5.25%. So not down that much. Literally one trade, 2 trades is gonna give me a drawdown. Right? Simple as that. 2 trades gonna give me a drawdown. I'm waiting for 2 days. I'm waiting for 2 trades. And you can see after right now, I think I'm pretty sure I'm down in a negative 17 losing streak, but I'm only down 5.25%, right? So I'm managing risk very accordingly, as well as 2Js is gonna give me a drawdown very easy, but that's why I'm not in a hurry. That's why I'm very focused on, and that's why I'm very focused on keep on refining and sharpening and learning and having improvements. As you guys know, above every knowledgeable, there's one more knowledgeable. So always seek knowledge, always seek improvement. And yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, share. This is the weekly market recap. And 1-2 is gonna make it back. I just gotta wait for the perfect opportunity. I just gotta wait for not perfect opportunity. I just gotta wait for, those have to happen, which he happened on this day. Which the reason we missed it out because we put our limit order a little too high. Same thing happened here. Is that I was like, okay, I'm looking for taking a trade on the New York session, which market New York session literally fucking dumped. So yeah, without retracing all the way back up. So our model happened here, it happened here, it happened here, it happened here again, which this one I would have not taken it because the Ferrari gap, the old high was inside the Ferrari gap, so I'm gonna have to execute it, which I did take a loss. So yeah, that's why, because I can't in the news profile too. I'm no longer looking for an advanced entry, right? I'm looking for a 4-hour to 15-minute, I look to 5-minute when there's hourly and a 4-hour COT combined. Stick to a 4-hour COT because it's hard to find power and look for a 15-minute entry, not a 5-minute, not advanced entry on a news profile too, right? So keep that in mind. And yeah, that's overall the lesson of the week. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share. I was literally right every single day. I was right on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Friday I did say my box was wrong, but I found out, okay, my box was actually correct, but no, I made a mistake on there. So yeah, which we learned it and we just turned it down. And yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, share. Join the discussion down below, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. And the reason I'm kind of fucking up right now is because my mouth is fucking hurting really bad. Every time I talk, it hurts, but guess what? I love the pain. And a quick little story. Yesterday, I mean, literally today, I woke up a couple hours ago because of my fucking how bad my teeth was hurting. I couldn't sleep. During my teeth was hurting, I went to the gym. I was like, bro, I cannot fucking let this, this pain stop me. Bro, the problem I had was that I would squeeze my mouth, right? When I'm lifting heavy weight, when I was doing deadlifts, I was doing, conditioning for my, MMA. And the reason why I'm not going live is because MMA and, my business class stuff I go attend to, which is like fucking 12 months for some reason. And it's fucking basic ass knowledge. And, that's the reason I'm not doing it more on the MMA side because I don't want to fucking go live. You guys already know how it works. I don't need to go fucking live every fucking day to show you guys the concepts. I'll show you guys how the concept works. So there is literally no insights. It's only actual live, right? So the concepts, the whole reason why I went live, I will go live in the future, inshallah, after I become potentially famous, inshallah, which I will definitely will become famous, inshallah. When that happens, I'll definitely go live and, do that. But till then, I don't want to waste time and save my energy. So yeah, I will go live in the future, but right now I will not go live. It's no need to for me. At the moment, the only reason I went live is for just to show you guys the concepts working in a little live market data, right? So the markets, so as I can show you guys that the concept actually works in a live data market and show you guys lively. And yeah, that's overall the reason why I didn't go live. But yeah, the yesterday, bro, I was squeezing my teeth. I thought like the problem I had was I squeezed my teeth when I'm working out, deadlifting fucking 315 pound. I squeezed my teeth and I was like, bro, what's it fucking hurting, right? So, I got to a point where I was kind of cry almost, right? So I would fucking drink water, come right back, dude, because like the pain was hurting me so much that I wouldn't take rest. I would just go right back to doing more deadlift, right? So you take the pain away. Because every time I do a deadlift, pain goes away. It gets numb, but it gets not numb. It starts hurting again. I was like, fuck, So eventually I came home. It got even worse because I fucking, squeezed my mouth too much when I was lifting. So it just fucked up the whole, healing process even more, and eventually that hurted my teeth even fucking more. So yeah, painful. I still feel the pain, but you guys know, man, we're a G, man. We don't feel that pain. We don't feel pain, man. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.